evening. You're watching Newsline at 7 and I'm your host Akir Onakotong. Here are tonight's top story. Sabasaba protests shake the nation as citizens demand reforms. We are all Kikuyu strengths in a bold display of national unity. Ekuru Ekot criticizes President Ruto's economic leadership. Ruto accuses the opposition of misleading Kenyan youth. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale defends progress in healthcare reforms. Harambee Stars prepare for a crucial AFCON qualifier against Sierra Leone. Thousands of Kenyans flooded the streets on Monday as Sabasaba Day protests erupted across major towns including Nairobi, Kisumu, Nakuru, and Mombasa. The demonstrations Here are tonight's top story. Sabasaba protests shake the nation as citizens demand reforms. We are all Kikuyu strengths in a bold display of national unity. Ekuru Ekot criticizes President Ruto's economic leadership. Ruto accuses the opposition of misleading Kenyan youth. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale defends progress in healthcare. Thousands of Kenyans flooded Nairobi, Kisumu, Nakuru, and Mombasa. The demonstrations led by frustrated youth demanded lower taxes, more jobs, and end of corruption. Protesters say they feel abandoned by the very leaders who promised to empower them. Tear gas. Let's hear it from our reporter Enoch at the scene.
Kenya's President William Ruto is once again under fire for his handling of the ongoing protest crisis.
Kwanza niliona ati wanasema ati sasa hawatangojea 2027 ati tupige kura. Ati wanataka kupanga fujo. Ati wapange maandamano. Ati wachome mali ya watu. Ati walete maafa Kenya. Ati ndio wapindue serikali ya Kenya kabla ya 2027. Mimi nataka niwaambie wajaribu. Watajua hawajui. Kenya ni nchi ya demokrasia. Hamuwezi kutuambia ya kwamba mnaweza kupanga.
Reportedly said, don't kill them, shoot them in the leg as a way to manage demonstrators.
Mtu ambaye anachukua moto, anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu. Anaenda kuchoma mali ya watu wengine. Mtu kama huyo apigwe risasi miguu, aende hospitali, akienda kotini. Yes. Yeah. Wasimuue lakini wapige hii miguu ivunjike ndio aende kotini, aende hospitali akienda kotini.
Police have always been accused of using too much force, with several protesters either killed or seriously hurt. Now human rights groups are reacting strongly. They say the president's words are dangerous and could make the situation even worse.
Those who attack our police, those who attack our security men and women, those who attack our security installations, including police stations.
And I'm here today in the streets of Nairobi, and I have one of the citizens we are going to ask a question. Maybe he will introduce himself. Okay, and the question is, how did you feel after the president's statement of shoot on legs and not shoot to kill?
Me feel fit. Unajua president ni source of influence from other sources. You see fit because unajua ni kama ni president so lead the whole nation. So I can make such statements. It a lot of problems because unajua city protest at protest at juu tunataka ku overthrow of the government, tunataka to make just the government better and to stop police brutality because that is the main thing. Tuna protest against because unapata watu wengine wanakufa tu ni resources zenye polisi tu wanapiga ovyo because unapata juzi si ulisikia pia kuna story ya na dem 12 years alipigwa risasi akiwa kwa watch TV.
Yeah.
So hiyo hata polisi mwenyewe alipiga hizo risasi hata saa hii najua tu anatembea tu kwenye na raia tu wengine. And so si feel fit kuhusu hiyo statement anafaa as in hata si hata tusha lose hope na wewe saa hii. Tunangojea tu 2027 elections tumweke tu nje. Juu sasa hakuna kitu kingine tunaweza fanya kisha sema hivyo.
Okay, and do you feel safe joining protests after he said those words?
We don't feel safe anymore. Because si tukiprotest, tuna protest peacefully. So yeye akileta mambo ya shoot to kill orders, hapo kidogo atatufanya atatuweka nje, but unajua Gen Z ni wengi. So bado kama ni protest, bado tutaprotest regardless either amesema shoot to kill, but tuna protest but we don't feel safe anymore.
A powerful social media movement is sweeping the nation under the hashtag We Are All Kikuyus. Kenyans are changing their usernames to Kikuyu names in a stand against tribal profiling and political division. The campaign started after claims that Kikuyu protesters were being unfairly targeted. Citizens from all ethnic groups joined in solidarity, declaring that the fight for justice transcends tribe. Digital analysis say the movement marks a new chapter in how Kenyans use social media for national unity. Switching to our reporter, Sarah Noel.
A powerful show of unity is sweeping across the social media in Kenya under the trending hashtag We Are All Kikuyus, as thousands of Kenyans on X changed their usernames to include Kikuyu names in defiance of tribal profiling linked to the recent anti-government protests. The online movement was sparked after politicians allied to the ruling United Democratic Alliance, the UDA, accused the Kikuyu community of fueling the ongoing Gen Z-led protest against the President William Ruto's regime. In particular, UDA leaders alleged that the community has been mobilizing nationwide demonstration and inciting other regions against the government, a claim that has angered many Kenyans, especially the protesting youth. The online uproar follows weeks of countrywide protest, primarily driven by Gen Z youth, delusioned with what they describe as poor governance, broken promises, corruption, and unemployment under the Kenya Kwanza administration. As digital resistance grows louder, the message from Kenyan Gen Z remains clear. They refuse to be silenced, sidelined, or divided along tribal lines. In their own words, whichever way you look at it, we are not to be rattled.
Reporting for Newsline Media, I am Sarah Noel.
That Way Alliance leader Dr. Ekuru Ekwot has lashed out at President William Ruto, accusing his administration of failing to deliver on its promises. Addressing the press earlier today, Okwot said Kenyans are worse off than before. He cited rising taxes, inflation, and youth unemployment as evidence of a failed economic strategy. He urged Kenyans to reject empty rhetorical and demand real leadership. Moving over to our reporter, Jane Otieno.
Today, July 10th, 2025, Dr. Ekuru Aukot, leader of the Third Way Alliance Party, has openly expressed his deep concern over a recent statement made by President William Ruto.
Mtu ambaye anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu mwingine. Mtu ambaye anachukua moto, anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu. Anaenda kuchoma mali ya watu wengine. Mtu kama huyo apigwe risasi miguu, aende hospitali, akienda kotini.
Speaking to the press today, Aukot described the president's pronouncement as alarming and indicative of a leader detached from reality. He specifically referenced President Ruto's recent instructions to law enforcement to injure rather than kill protesters involved in property destruction. He argued that the mental health of a head of state is paramount as their decision directly impacts the lives and safety of millions.
In fact, some people think, Ruto needs to check into a mental facility to be analyzed. Is he okay? Because some of the things he's saying as a president are actually worrying. Now we can see even now regional balkanization.
Reporting from Newsline Media, I'm Jane Otieno.
President William Ruto has responded to recent unrest by accusing the opposition of inciting the youth. While speaking in Elgeyo Marakwet, Ruto said some leaders are taking advantage of young people to destabilize the country through protests. He emphasized the need for peace, dialogue, and development, warning that violence will not be tolerated.
President Ruto's administration has been rocked with various challenges. While most people seem to have lost faith in his governance, He insists that he still has everything in control and that he will not allow anyone to overthrow him from power.
Na kama wako na mpango, si tukutane 2027? Watengeneze sera yao, tukutane na hawa 2027. Njia ya mkato hapa katikati hakuna.
The big question remains, will the Gen Zs and the country at large wait on him to deliver? President Ruto has made allegations that there are some political leaders that are inciting the youth to overthrow him from power. With me, I have someone to gather some of the opinions about what people think on this matter. We'll start with your name. Kindly tell us your name.
Okay, I'm Shenista Murume.
Thank you. So, on to my question. I wanted to ask you, do you think that political leaders are using the youth to overthrow the president from power?
For me, I don't think so. Kwa sababu maybe kitambo sana wakati Gen Z walianzisha mambo yao. Ilikuwa last year about the finance bill, ndio?
Yes.
First of all, they said that they are leaderless, okay? So, and saa zingine hata wakati wanapanga maandamano, sometimes when maybe they plan for their demonstrations, ujaiona wakisema tutakutana, which is nini, au utaona mtu mwenye ndiye kipaumbele. Sawa, mtu mwenye tunasema huyu ndiye ana guide, mwenye maybe anapeana information kesho tutamit wapi. Ukiangalia watu ni leaderless. Then kitu yenye ina inspire Gen Zs ama kitu inawapa msukumo ni unajua Gen Z wamegrow wakiangalia, Gen Z wamegrow wakiteseka, wakihangaika, na most of them are wengine wako campus, okay? Wengine wamesoma, wengine ni wamegraduate, so hawana jobs. Then nakuta out ni wengi, ni 80%.
In a commissioning of a police housing project in Nairobi, President Ruto has made allegations that there are some political leaders that are inciting the youth to overthrow him from power. In the same event on Wednesday, President William Ruto has stated that violent protesters who loot and burn people's property should be shot in the legs, as they proceed to court upon recovery. The former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, however, argues that nobody is planning a coup against the president and that he should relax and serve his one term. The people have different views and opinions concerning this. For Newsline Media, I'm Janet Wairimu.
Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale says the government is making progress in achieving universal health coverage. While touring a level 5 hospital in Garissa, Duale praised the recruitment of community health workers and the steady improvement of medical supply chains in rural areas. He stated that no Kenyan should suffer or die due to lack of treatment. Switching to Sam Karanja.
Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale has reiterated the government's unwavering commitment to delivering accessible health care, announcing that all primary health care services are now fully funded and offer free of charge in public health facilities at level 2s to level 4 across the whole country. Speaking during a recent health sector engagement, CS Duale emphasized that no Kenyan should pay for any PHC services at these facilities, underlining the government's effort to removing financial barriers to essential care. The free PHC services encompass a wide range of critical interventions, including clinical consultations, diagnosis and treatment of any common illness, prescribed laboratory tests, dispensation of essential medications, basic radiological imaging such as X-rays and ultrasound, chronic disease management like diabetes and hypertension, and any mental health services and psychological support. Honorable CS Aden Duale has urged all Kenyans to make use of the free healthcare services that are being offered right now, and also ensure that any public health service worker does not make any unauthorized charges or fees on any of the healthcare services, and have integrity. Reporting from Newsline Media, it's Samuel Karango.
President Ruto has announced plans to list several state-owned companies, starting with the Kenya Pipeline Company on the Nairobi Securities Exchange later this year. The move aims to boost Kenya's capital markets and reduce reliance on foreign debt.
As government, we have equally made a strategic decision to broaden Kenya's stock market appeal to both local and international investors by earmarking key state assets for privatization through initial public offerings at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. We are committed to a structured, time-sensitive program that identifies and prepares a robust pipeline of key government assets to be privatized through the stock exchange or improved through private sector participation. As part of this initiative, we plan to list the Kenya Pipeline Company through an IPO in 2025, offering investors a unique opportunity to deploy capital in one of Kenya's most strategic infrastructure enterprise.
This initiative is backed by the Privatization Act 2023, which gives Cabinet authority to fast-track the process. An initial list of 35 state corporations has been identified, with up to 100 more expected to follow over time. A key objective is to attract private investments in infrastructure and public services. Previous privatization attempts were delayed by legal setbacks and opposition. A 2023 High Court ruling stalled earlier efforts, but the current framework seeks to overcome those challenges. Efficient and competitive. Reporting for Newsline Media, I'm Ivy Gesare.
Kenya's national football team, the Harambee Stars, are preparing for a high-stake African Cup of Nations qualifier against Sierra Leone this weekend at Nyayo National Stadium. Coach Egin Firas says team morale is high, and key players like Michael Olunga and Kenneth Mogura are in top form. A win will boost Kenyans' chances of qualifying for the tournament. Fans across the country are rallying behind the team in hopes of major victory. That brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin. Thank you for joining us here on Newsline at 7. I'm Akir Omakotong. Stay informed, stay united, and stay tuned.